Hello and welcome to another bonus rules episode of Steelfur Speaks. I am Steelfur, aka Finbar, London-based card game and flesh and blood player. I do a lot of videos like this, news, rules, those kind of things. So if you like that sort of interaction, that kind of analytical, journalistic approach to flesh and blood with no punches pulled, then please do subscribe to my channel. You know, it's a great year. Lots of exciting things are going on, ramping up for the Calling Birmingham this weekend. And I'm here to tell you about one vital rules interaction you need to know about Levia before the Calling this weekend. And of course, in general, if you are a Levia player. What is that rules interaction? So I was in an armory last night and someone was talking about the rules and they asked a simple question about the interaction between Blasphemous Levia Consumed and Doomsday, right? Specifically, the interaction of when the cards are turned face down, is there a reaction window to interrupt with an instant? Now, this is relevant for a simple reason, which is that you play a card like Dread Screamer, it banishes 3 or more cards from your graveyard. Okay. If those are face up in your banished zone at a point when you can interrupt, and play an instant, then you can play Doomsday before those are turned face down. So let's break that down again. I want to play Doomsday as a Levia player. I have already transformed into Blasphemous Levia Consumed, so any cards that I banish are turned face down in my banished zone once they enter. I have 3, 4, however many cards in my banished zone, but not enough to play Doomsday. I play a card like Dread Screamer, which then banishes 3 random cards, and those cards have Blood Debt. So, theoretically, I would have 6+ cards in my banished zone with Blood Debt. Can I then play Doomsday? Now, if we go to Levia Consumed and we zoom in, we can see that the language that's used here is whenever a card is put into your banished zone, turn it face down. If you would lose life from Blood Debt, instead banish the top card of your deck. So the question that was put to me was, is this a trigger that goes on the stack? Or is this an interrupt replacement effect that gets added to the stack as part of the Dread Screamer trigger? Now I gave one answer. The person who I was playing in the armory with then said it to Mansant, who obviously is a Levia fan, and then Mansant took it to Josh Scott, who is the lead rules designer for LSS. So when I say that this is how it works, you can 100% trust it has been confirmed by the head of rules in LSS. So, and it also makes sense from the way that we understand how card games work. So the important thing here is to understand the use of the word whenever versus and whenever is used plus the word instead versus without the word instead, right? So when something is used as whenever something happens, do something else instead, that's a replacement effect, which means it takes the place of the action that is going on as part of that action, right? Most of the time. But this is just a whenever effect. So what that means is that whenever you put a card into your banished zone, to the stack you add a layer, in this case 3 layers, 4, 5, and 6, for example, for Dread Screamer. So you're resolving Dread Screamer as layer 1. You banish 3 cards, which then adds another 3 triggers that will turn those cards face down. While those triggers are on the stack, you can respond with Doomsday, and those 3 cards that you banish with Dread Screamer will be face up in your discard pile, in your banished zone, waiting to be flipped face down. So they will count towards if there are 6 or more cards with Blood Debt in your banished zone, which will then let you play your Doomsday before resolving the full stack and turning those cards face down. Now that's a niche interaction. It does apply to some other things, but basically any card that is banished with Blasphemous Levia Consumed enters your discard pile face up. We can check if it's a 6 power or not, and then it gets turned face down. So things like Dread Screamer, all of those things still work, but this is kind of a niche interaction where you're specifically trying to use a card that banishes 3 or more or even 1, however many you need to banish to get to the threshold for Doomsday, and then using that little window that's created by the trigger from Levia Consumed that would turn them face down in order to resolve Doomsday and get Blasphemous on the table. So it means, you know, for all of you people who are being like, well, how do I play Doomsday? I can't put any cards in my banished zone. There is actually a little window for you to get a Doomsday onto the board in between, you know, even if you're, you know, banishing cards face down and you've already changed as Levia Consumed. So that's really important. A lot of people are going to be playing Levia this weekend. A lot of people are going to be getting into trying to play Levia Consumed, and this is a really important window to be aware of, because, you know, there will be times when you're running low on blood debt. You still have Doomsday in your deck because you can't block with it. You just pitch it. And, you know, you play something like a Dread Screamer and you get that little window to play your Doomsday, and you get Blasphemous on the board and you can attack for 6 with a free action point, and it's going to feel really, really good. So make sure you're aware of this. I'm glad that I could help people figure this out. And, of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for little interactions like this. So if you find any that you don't think I'm aware of, just let me know and I will happily note them in a video maybe.